What is going on, everyone? Salutes. Happy Saturday night. I know we're a little late, especially if you're over here on the East Coast. It is 10:50, but I know I got several friends over on the Who Has the Heat battle. Hold on, I got a little bit of feedback. I apologize. But listen, I just want to say thank you so much. For all the support and everything, and again for supporting the channel. Definitely been a fun ride so far, showing sneakers and just sharing stories and kind of passing on the tradition of actually being collectors and talking about the culture and everything. A lot of you probably know kind of some of the stuff that's been going on over and it's all over you're probably all over your Instagram feed, your Facebook feed, Twitter feed, all that stuff going on with Urban Necessities and 2J's. So I'm a 2J supporter. I've met him multiple times. Had the opportunity to actually hang out with him for a little bit. Gave him some artwork. I have that posted up on my page, but I also had the opportunity to know someone who is a personal friend of his and has been with him for a long time, from way before Vegas and all that other stuff. So I had the opportunity to actually give him some time to come up here tonight. And again, anyone in the chat that has a question, by all means, type it in. But real quick, I'd like to introduce a good friend of mine. His name he goes by Duffel Bag Dan. You call him Dan. He's over here on the East Coast. Dan,
what
salute.
up? What's going on,
people?
Man? How you been, brother? Everything good?
I'm good, man. Welcome back to Florida.
Yeah, it's good to be back. It's good to be back. I really, not a lot of people can understand that. You leave, you don't realize how good you got it over here, man. Florida's an amazing state, no doubt. I love it, man. I'm never leaving. It's gonna be in a coffin. That's about it.
So real quick, let me just run through who all's here. And like I said, this is going to be a little bit different. We're going to get to shoes a little bit later. But like I said, I had the opportunity, knowing Dan was back and knowing how a good friend of ours, especially his, as far as the history that they have, is kind of getting a bad rap right now with something that he built. And, for Dan to know him on a way different level than most people see and know, to come up here and just kind of share a little bit of what's been going on. And again, if anybody has any questions, if Dan can give some insight into that. But what we're talking about is what's going on with Jaysse, Lopez 2J's, and the whole Urban Necessities sneaker surgeon thing. So real quick, I've got Mo in the chat. Salute, brother. Appreciate you.
Salute.
Hot Wheel. Money Fresh Clothing, official sponsor. Please go on his website, buy some Insoli merch. Our first shirt dropped a few weeks ago. There's still some left, so definitely go in there and show some support. There's a link. Please, if anyone wants to come up later and show some sneakers, by all means. We got the Rhyme and Resin podcast. This is a collaboration with Dan and also the real Pistol Pete. They just launched their podcast. First episode was just a few nights ago, right?
Yeah, last Monday, and then we just shot the second one, working on trying to drop that tomorrow.
Nice. So definitely, please. I shared a story the other day and also posted something on YouTube. So please give them a follow, give them a like, subscribe to their channel, show some local support. Again, based here out of Florida, outside the Orlando area, and great content. Two real dudes, real stories. Yeah, everything. They're 100% real, legit. It's good shit.
Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it.
So much soul. Salutes.
Salute.
Sneaker J 305. Miami. Salutes, brother. First time here, and I'll subscribe. Appreciate that, man. Fat Boy Kicks. Salutes. Just checking in from the battle. Yeah, brother. I think hopefully you got your shirt. I know you said you liked it, so congrats, man. I'm glad that that arrived safely, for sure, for sure. I don't know if who has the heat battles are going on. Congrats to them. Over 100 in the chat tonight. They actually did a triple threat match. They had 3 battles back to back to back. They started at 6. It's now 11. They're still going on the third battle. So salutes to those guys, man, killing it over there.
That's dope. That is dope.
Mr. Sheridan salutes. OG Brian, what's good, man? Money fresh. He was wearing it at the job. Oh shit. Well, yo, Fat Boy, thank you, man. Appreciate that. Okay, so he was wearing our shirt tonight on their judging. Appreciate
That's
that, man.
fire.
Thank you.
That's fire.
All right. So again, real quick, if you missed the beginning, as some more people are popping in, Dan, a friend of mine, we've known each other now for a few years. Again, met through sneakers.
Yeah, through sneakers, and I mean, I could say, I could say it, like it. You've been the number one dude from jump when I started my thing, and it was just like we clicked. We clicked. We
Right, right,
also
right.
had the, we were all in the network with 2Js and all this stuff, and but me and you clicked from jump, and I've always appreciated the support, man. You've been a true supporter from day one, and that's something that will never be forgotten.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So, um, as I mentioned in the beginning, now Dan and Jaysse go way, way back. This is before UN. This is like growing up. Like, was it back in like school? Like,
Yeah, I've been friends with Jay 30 years this year. This will be
okay,
the 30th year.
okay.
We've been best friends, like
So
I'm
just so you
study
know, that's
hall.
all. That's before
This is
Adidas
Jersey.
Boost. That's before the Yeezy. That's
This
before all that shit.
this
Like,
was
so this is
this was like Jordan 9, Carolina Jordan, like we going back, we going way back, dog. Like this, me and him, that's how we connected. It was fitted hats, it was Tommy Hilfiger, it was Polo, it was Jordans, it was Timberlands, it was Eastlands, it was Wallabies. Like we used to go call each other when we bought the albums, the CDs and cassettes, and read the inside of the cassette together. Like, yo, who produced this? Who produced that? Like that's how far back we go, me and Jay.
Money
You know.
Fresh said Jersey stand up. Salute, salutes, man.
Salute, Jers, always. That's my second home right there.
So so yeah, so these two guys have known each other forever. Um and like I said, I know you've watched Jay kind of just build up over the years, you know.
Yep.
And then I think I don't want to steal the whole story, but I think at one point, more recently, he gave you guys kind of worked on an opportunity for you to head out there and help him because he had gotten to that point of the Vegas store, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yep. I moved out there December of 2024. Right? Was it
Okay.
2024 or 2023? No, 2023. Yeah, because we were there. Yeah, it was 2023, just to make sure. My wife's right here. I'm trying to, she's better with the timelines than me. So we
Tell her thank you for getting the timeline right.
so yeah, we moved out there the 22nd of December of 2023, which was my wife's birthday, to be exact. So we got there, and we had, Jay and I had been talking. He has been wanting me to go out there for so long because he needed help on certain things, and he really couldn't get the trust factor of what we have together. Because like I said, we're like brothers, and you
Mhm.
described it perfectly. We've been, we lost touch for about 4 or 5 years, and because he was going through what he was going through, and then we got back in contact through Facebook. Oh no, MySpace.
Space.
MySpace. Okay, yeah, that's how far back. that that was a crazy time, MySpace.
Salutes
But
to
anyway,
Tom, who was always the first
oh,
friend
shout
everyone
out to
had on
Tom.
MySpace. He hooked you guys up. Appreciate
He,
it.
so that was a fly time, man. That's another story. We'll save that for another episode. Um, so yeah, we connected, and we started kicking it again. And he went to a tattoo convention in White Plains, New York, and I was like an hour away, upstate New York. And he called me he called me out of the blue, like, yo, D, what's up? Come through. Let's kick it, man. Let's talk. Let's do this. Let's do that. And I'm like, yo, I'll be right there. I pulled up. and we started talking. That was the day he got the Jersey double tattoo on his face. That
Okay.
was the day
Uh,
he said, I said, yo, you sure you want to do this? He was like, ain't no coming back now, dog. I'm in this too deep.
yeah, I remember seeing
So
that video. He had a video where he did that.
yeah, yeah, I was there, and then again, he was into the tattoo scene, and he was building through there, and then we started, sneakers started to come back heavy. And I was
Hmm.
in New York. I was buying, I mean, every Friday, I would go all five boroughs: Brooklyn, Queens, Bronx. I'm all over Manhattan. I'm in this place, that place, and I'm just buying shoes by the tons because I was getting money back then. And so it was like, he was like, "Yo, D, what you think about this sneaker thing?" I'm like, it's growing. I think you should start selling sneakers." He said, "What you mean?" I said, "There's a market, though. There's an aftermarket, and this is pre, we selling before the big lines that we were camping out and all that." So he got into it at the right time, and it was perfect. It was like the perfect storm because he was starting that. He meets Joni, and then he jumps into reselling, and it was a whirlwind effect, and it just drew him into this zone, man. And it was amazing to watch, and he grew from selling out the trunk, and then he jumped into the Boulevard Mall. He got that opportunity, and he never stopped. He just kept going. He kept going, man. And it's been a beautiful journey to watch him do what he does, and he's always been about the customer,
Right.
especially the consigner. You know, the that's his number one. That was his number one priority at the time, and still to this day, he doesn't. He don't sleep. It's been a while, B. I'm not gonna hold you. It's been a long time since these guys took over in 2022 that he's been worried about everything, and he signed a bad contract. He knows that. He knows that, man. He knows he signed a bad contract. He talked about it today again.
Yeah.
But now he's coming back with receipts because
My friend just said, "Man, I'm gonna have to watch that later." His last live was 81 minutes long.
yeah, yeah, he had almost 1,000 people in there. A
Yeah.
thousand people, which he hasn't had that many live people in a while, man. That type he was good, but he was speaking the truth, and it's
Right.
a hot topic. Yes, I understand, but the way UN and Surgeon and Dallas created this narrative, especially today, they dropped that statement.
Bro, that was the most ridiculous letter. Like,
They accused him of stealing.
but then offered to
And
buy him out. Right?
thank you.
It's
Who
like,
steals
really?
from themselves?
Common sense, man.
You know what I'm
Like,
saying?
listen, we know you're stealing, so if we pay you, will you go away?
When you
Like,
go away, it's like Debo. Like, yo, you
right?
can't. Let me have my chain. Like
Tuck
that's
your
what it is.
chain.
It's stupid, man. Because it's like, so when everything was happening, like so the timeline. I got there in December
Hmm.
of 23. January, I noticed the quality of the store wasn't the same. So now this Jay had that store spotless.
Now
Jay had that store,
I saw
everything.
a video with you like grand opening out there.
Yeah,
'Cause you
we.
were out there because he was doing a sit down in the showroom, and I saw you in the background because you were
I was
helping him get
always
stuff
he
situated and
whenever
stuff.
there was a big event, he's like, "Yo, D, come through. I need you,
Right,
dog. I'm gonna need help." All right, cool. I'll take off work, book it out there, and it was always love. And it was look,
right,
who's gonna turn down a time to be with their best friend in Las Vegas,
right,
right?
right.
But beyond that, being in Las Vegas and then being around what you love, because sneakers is really what he loves, and that's me. That's our thing. He could tell you. He could vouch. We would battle every Monday. Every Monday, what you got on your feet, dog? I'm going to the pencil shop, and I'll be right back. I'm gonna show you something real quick. That's the way we did it. So, but
And I
in it,
apologize. I'm not ignoring you. I got friends
no,
texting me. I'm telling them to come through because I want to make sure this gets out
yeah, yeah,
to
yeah, I
everyone. You know what
appreciate
I'm
it.
saying?
Nah, no
Because I mean,
problem. No
it's
problem, dog. Take
you
your
know,
time, man. So, again, we had it was we never, we always wanted to make sure we were together, especially at special events and anniversaries and this, that, and the third. We did it, and he would always call me, Yo, D, don't worry about nothing. I already booked your flight. Just show up to the airport. All right, cool. So I go, and I've been in a lot of events, a lot of anniversaries, and a lot of sneaker cons, and Fat Joe's house in Miami. I went, you know, and picked up 2,000 pairs and parked them in front of my house. How many people can say that? Picked up 2,000 pairs from Fat Joe's house and parked it in front of my house in the Kissimmee. You know what I'm saying? Like legendary things we've done, and the things. Yo, I'm telling you, like we got this stuff that we can't talk about, but there's stuff that we could, and it was legendary things, and I'm forever grateful for that. And it's just to watch what the statement that they created today and posted today and say he stole and get out. Let's get out our feelings because let's keep it real. JC's not wasn't a businessman. This, that, and the third, bro. When I was there again, back to the timeline. January, I started to notice things were different. Now you have Super Bowl weekend where
Right.
Jay is like the mayor of Las Vegas at the time, and he was cooking everybody. Marshawn Lynch, this person, that the NFL's looking for him. This, I mean, tremendous amount of feedback and things that he had planned. And here comes Surgeon and says, "Nah, we don't need him. We don't need him. He doesn't belong this in this. We so what they basically were trying to do was pull him out and place Surgeon. But everybody knows Surgeon's not a people person. Jay is the talker. Jay is
Hmm.
the Jay is with the people all the time. You've seen
When,
Sleeping Cons, Sneaker
so
Travelers,
when the
wherever it
first
is.
time you introduced me to him at Sneaker Travelers,
Yep.
right, and I had the opportunity to give him some artwork and that kind of thing, um, he didn't not take time to speak to everyone, and there was always a crowd around him.
Yep.
And
That's
then
him.
I met him again. I want to say it was either no, it was again in Tampa. I had a booth set up, and he was walking around, and he introduced me to two Bucks players.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and
Yep.
he walked up, he remembered me, introduced me to Leonard Fournette. Leonard Fournette bought some Mambacitas from me.
Look at that.
You know what I'm saying? And it was just like the coolest thing. And it's just like I said, so it's like
Yeah.
to hear
So
this other
every
side that isn't real, or
yeah,
know that that narrative isn't him. It's crazy,
correct. And
you know.
that's what I'm trying to clear. So, the timeline again, Super Bowl weekend, which is the first week of February, the first Sunday, they took Jay out of all these things, Gatorade events, Nike events, all these things. And Surgeon is all of a sudden doing them and this and here and everywhere he was supposed to be. And it was like, okay, what's going on? He's like, yeah, I don't understand, D. But I'm gonna let it be. I'm not gonna step on no toes. I said, all right. So yeah, you guys start talking, dog. He was like, let me let it, because Jay is not he's not an aggressive person.
Mm-mm.
I'm the aggressive person. And Jay's got to everywhere, every
No,
time we
well, I
go
was gonna
somewhere
say
together.
to see the lives and the passion and the frustration that he's going through, which is not normally him.
Yeah,
They've
yeah.
pushed him to a level
Yeah.
that I'm sure
That's
many
not
haven't
it's out his
seen.
character.
Yeah, right.
Out his
Absolutely.
character. So that's why I say so Jay, like I said, Jay would tell me, yo, D, we're about to walk in this place. Chill out. Don't do it, D. Don't say that. I was like, all right, I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna disrespect. I'm hot enough for you, dog, because I know, like that's my dog, man. But I'm not gonna sit there and let anybody disrespect him. So, that Super Bowl weekend that happened. Then other things happened, and then I'm noticing March and April, they're just like totally ignoring him, and now he loses certain certain functions that he had at the store are no longer his functions.
Mm.
So there's he now he went from a boss to an employee, owner to employee. And then even now he doesn't even have the rights as an employee. Now they're telling him, yo, don't worry about it. Now he get locked out of the accounts. Now he's getting locked out of inventory. And all these things are happening. And he's like, yo, what do I do, dog? I can't do nothing. I said, we could do it two ways, your way or my way, right? Let's keep it real. We could do it your way or
Mhm.
my way. I don't care. Like I'm gonna do what we're gonna do. We're gonna get you back. But again, there's lawyers involved.
Mhm.
So he's and again, I listen. I'm like, yo, I got you. Whatever you want to do. And then I believe it was May. that they fired him. He went into the store to pick up something, and they told him, "You know, your employment here is terminated," which I didn't even know that was a thing when you own fifty
When
percent of
you're the
something.
owner, right, right, right.
You know what I'm saying? So he called me. He said, "Yo, D, I got fired." I said, "Huh?" We had that conversation. I never understood. So I was like, "Yo, what about all your stuff?" He's like, "Don't know what I'm gonna do, dog. I don't think I'm gonna get it." And I'm like, "That's impossible. That's impossible." So he waited a couple of days, got into contact with a couple of somewhat good people left, a couple of straggling good people in that store, and they boxed his stuff up, certain things, not everything. There was a lot more because look, Jay ran that business, but he was as much owner, he was a consigner as well.
Right.
So, he had a lot of merch in there and high end things. High end things he had. So what happened was from there we went to pick it up. We rented a U-Haul truck and we're starting to open things up and we're packing up the truck because he had just had a hernia. He couldn't even do anything. So he had a
Salute South
hernia
Jersey.
surgery.
What up,
So
area, Duffel Bay, and everyone in the chat?
what
Appreciate
up?
you. Real quick, we've had about 15 more people jump in. Appreciate it. Normally, we're showing sneakers. I had the opportunity to talk to my good friend Dan, who's up on the screen right now. We are chopping it up a little bit regarding 2Js and UN. Dan, childhood friend of Jaysse, had the opportunity to go out Vegas, work for him for a little bit, so he kind of knows firsthand about all this stuff. And he and I have been friends now for a few years,
Yes, sir.
and had the opportunity tonight to kind of bring him on and just talk about it a little bit. So again, um, I know I have a lot of sneaker people in the chat. So if you guys have any questions, I don't know if anyone in my chat had any pairs out there on consignment or anything. But by all means, man, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in there. We'll bring them up on the screen. And if Dan can shed some light on anything or give his insight, I'm sure he'll be more than happy to. And as you're hearing, there's some things they still can't talk about, having been an employee. But I just got a text that Jay was on earlier for 80 something minutes on live, clearing more things. Dan
Yep.
said over 1,000 people in that live stream
Yep.
that were watching that one.
Yes,
So
sir.
hopefully this shit's gonna get the truth. The truth always comes out. Um,
Yeah.
so it's he's got receipts, so it's getting spicy for sure.
Boy, does he have receipts. He got some real crazy things on his phone right now. And I'm glad that he's out and about and he's talking, man. It took this. It took the statement today to
Salute
get him
people.
to that point. The
Salutes
UN
Graham. Yep.
statement, the statement that UN dropped today on their Instagram, it took that for him to go above and beyond. And it's great. I don't like the situation, but it's good that he's able to talk about it now. And
Here
clear his
you go,
name.
right here. Jay was the reason I got into shoes and clothing and everything else. Dude had some of the best vlog vids in the early sneaker YouTube game.
Yes, sir. Yes, he did. He was, his mayor video is still one of the top
That's right.
videos on YouTube.
Salutes.
You know,
Absolutely. Yeah. So
it's but again, the timeline. We watched it. Everybody, look. For as vocal as he was, for him to fall back and not speak on certain things, something had to be wrong. Something had to be wrong. So, but he could, like, again, he was scared to talk, and I don't blame him, but I do at the same time because it's like if you didn't wait this long, you could have saved a little more face. But again, I'm not in his shoes. I'm speaking from the outside looking in.
right,
Still,
right. Jay was smart to get ahead of the issue. Better to state your piece first before someone else says it for you.
correct. That was the only thing I preached that to him for I don't know how long. But again, contractually, he also wanted to walk away. He would have took no money if they would have did the right thing.
Right,
Just to say, "Yeah, got me," right? Just don't do the people dirty. Right? Don't do the thing that I built. Don't chop it down to nothing. But nobody did that nobody did the research before. But now we're finding out that guy Dallas Bimbo in charge of Surgeon Worldwide, is the guy that's what he does. He buys businesses, he breaks into businesses somehow, and he disassembles.
I heard someone actually I heard I think you and Pete talked about that earlier. So he
Yep,
has a track record for doing this, correct?
correct, correct. He's well connected in California. He don't leave California because he knows what's up. Let me tell you, and I don't.
All right. We have a question.
Go ahead.
Salute to Jimmy. He says he doesn't understand how you can fire a 50% owner.
Okay, so that goes into the contract dispute. So Jay signed something that he lost power in, right? He signed his life away, so to speak, in that contract. When he took the original contract that was given to Jay, was Jay took it to his lawyer. From there, the lawyer said, "Looks good. All right, let's go." Jay
Oh,
was back and I'm sorry about that.
there we go.
Jay, I had a phone call. Jay was back and forth from L.A. to Vegas, Vegas to L.A. Back and forth with the contracts, going back. So when it all came, when it was all said and done, the contract wasn't the same that he had in the beginning.
Okay.
They revised it and added a bunch of things. So that's how he got fired from 50% stake of ownership, which again doesn't make sense even speaking it, but that's what happened.
Salutes Bradley. Appreciate it. South Jersey said he's talking to Jimmy. I bet Shoe Surgeon bought someone else's shares of the business and was able to buy the business, to outbuy the business.
He bought okay, so how surgeon came into this equation was Joni got cancer. She was it was a tough time, dog.
Right.
Anybody hearing that C word, dog, like that's that's not a game. So, she's 50% of Jay in that thing. And she's in charge of cutting the checks and doing all
Hmm.
these things. And she got told she had cancer, dog. They fell apart. They fell apart. And now there was no more focus on the business for her.
Sure. Absolutely.
So, which is totally that's human, right? So, what happens then is that Jay's like, I want to grow the business, but I can't do it alone. So, you know, what do I do? So he said, I might take on some partners, and that's when there was starting people coming, people hearing it through the grapevine, and he's wants to take on some partners and all these things going forward. And it's like, okay, cool. I'm gonna think about it. So he thought about it a little longer. Said it makes sense. I'm by myself in this. I need to do something. Right? I need the help because one man can't run that whole thing like
No,
everybody thinks. So he takes on,
especially opening up multiple stores.
correct.
Oh,
So
yeah.
he always had that dream. His dream was to be worldwide. Right? Let's keep it real. Jay was when he started talking about that thing, and he's going into the anniversaries and it getting bigger, and he goes from Boulevard to Fashion to Caesars. He's like, dog, I want to take this thing worldwide, dog. I want to see this thing everywhere, and it was almost that, but it almost became that by himself.
Right. Yep.
But okay, we hit a little bit of a thing. So we hit a wall. So then what happens? Joni gets sick. He stops focusing so much on the business, starts looking for partners. He gets them. They sell him a dream that he couldn't say no to. And they offered her a number. They never gave her the complete number, knowing that she was going through what she was going through. Never gave her the number she was supposed to get. Not even a third of what she was supposed to get. But he, again, good graces. That's Jay. Jay comes back. Jay goes back to the handshake deals.
Hmm.
That's Jay. Jay's old school. You know, so when you tell him this, we gonna do something. He gonna do his part.
Yeah. Well, he expects
But
you to be a man of his word, of your
thank
word,
you,
because he's a man of his.
thank you. That's all he asked. That's all he asked. So they never did it. And Joni started chemo, and now he's dealing with that. And the doctors are giving them timelines, and it's kind of like the business is in limbo. But he's doing this during the day, then he's home with this, dealing with the home thing, and then he's back with the business, and He's got these certain people structured, and all of a sudden they come and bring their own people in.
Mm.
And then everything changed. And then he didn't have creative control for this. They just wanted his likeness, his face to be involved, but he had no power in that store.
Because he was the face of the brand.
And he was a trustworthy face
Right.
because
Right.
when he did what he did, and because signers look, okay, yeah, some mistakes were made. He couldn't be everywhere at one time, but he did his best to fix it. Right? Somebody didn't get paid. They got paid a little later. He said, "Okay, yo, I got you. I got you, and I won't charge you certain things." But then they changed the consignment percentage. Then they
I heard him
changed,
say that too. They were changing stuff without the consigners
oh,
knowing and changing
changing
contracts.
storage fees, and right now there's storage fees that people can't even they
Afford.
it outweighs the what they're owed. How do you have higher storage fees than what you're owed
Yeah.
without notice? So it's like all these things happen, but again, Jay's still trying. Jay's still trying to work through it. Yo, we could do this. Yo, we could do that. Let's do this. Let's do that. Nah, we good. So there was a point when they first started. Again, Jay wanted to grow. This is prior to Saudi. This is prior to Del Amo. He wanted to go to Miami because let's keep it real. Florida's his second or maybe first biggest market,
Mm-hmm.
being that he's Latino and being that the East Coast thing, and Florida's got a huge sneaker community. It's like I've never seen anything like Florida. Like the
That
biggest,
was probably right before you were moving out there. You and I talked, and you were
yeah,
like, I said, "Hey, you need to get him to do something in Florida. Let me know."
yeah,
you know,
because I was trying to make that work.
right?
I put a lot of things in his head, and he was like, "Yo, I think we should make this work." So he went. He went to Miami, met with the real estate people,
Salutes
went
Bulldog.
walked did a walkthrough in Miami, which was on the same street as LeBron's store, BB Pharrell's place,
Mm-hmm.
right? Prior to Khaled having the store,
Oh wow.
right? So it made total sense. And then when people started to hear the buzz, yo, you coming to Miami, dog? Forget it, yo. It was crazy. He was like, yo, look at this, look at this. Then he would tell them, he would tell Dallas, and he would tell Surgeon, yo, peep this, bro. Look how much they want us over there. What Dallas said, nah, we can't go over there. That market's not gonna work. And we're like,
What the?
what? You know what I'm saying? What are you talking about? Nah, that market's not gonna work. West Coast. I'm like, dog, no, you're not. Jay's East Coast, no matter what you say.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Shout out to my West Coast people. Don't get me wrong. I love y'all, man. Y'all amazing. Y'all show me so much love.
Oh,
But
trust me, we got Jersey, Philly, the BX, Ghost Rider. You're Texas. You're kind of we'll claim you a little east. We got a lot of east in here for sure. Bulldogs out in Cali.
yeah,
Um,
there you go.
you
That's
know,
that's what I'm saying.
uh,
So it's like
I know
they show
Bradley's here in
love,
Florida
dog.
with me.
They
So
show
I mean,
love.
yeah, absolutely.
I love the West Coast. I do have a place in my heart for the West Coast. Don't get me wrong. I can't live there, but I love y'all. Don't get me wrong. I'm an East Coast dude, man. Like that's just me. But God bless. But anyway, back to the topic at hand. It's like he did all these things, man, and the market was there before Saudi, before Del Amo Mall. The market was there. They
Right.
said no. So they wanted to do other things. No, we got to keep this West Coast. But we're going to do the Saudi deal. But I'm not sure if everybody knows, Saudi is a separate entity. That's not Jay just licensed the UN name there, but
Mm,
those guys own
they own
everything.
their own. Okay.
Yeah, that's their baby. And that was another thing that they did dirty to. They did them dirty when they were supposed to be in charge of making sure they had merch, making sure they had sneakers. They left them dudes out in the cold.
Hmm.
They didn't even call them. They never even picked up the phone.
He did mention, yeah, because he mentioned that that store was still up. That's their own. It's their own thing over
Yeah.
there. Like they're good. that they're
That was a licensing deal, and it was great. And you know what? This is how you
that's what he
know
should have done. That's what he probably should have done.
this. But this is again. This is how you know that Jay's a solid dude, right? Those Saudi guys still love Jay, and they still want to work with Jay. So, well, who do they don't want to know nothing about surgeon? I don't even think surgeon can go to the Middle East right now.
He better.
I
He
mean, not
might want to
nobody can go
rethink.
right now anyway. But at the same time, it's like let's keep it 100. But they because those cats are a big deal out there,
Yeah. Oh
and
yeah.
they told him they said it. We don't want that cat out here no more. So he's not welcome with us. But Jay, whatever you want to do, they still want to do deals with him. So how you gonna say that all these things that Jay's this, Jay's that, but all the people that Jay really worked with still love him? You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
That's what I don't get. Like, where is the narrative? Because I not get it. There's always gonna be certain things that happen that don't work in your favor. Consigners not getting paid. But let's be real. If you go back in your time, in your time, in this whole time frame, Jay has not been a part of that store since I got there in December. So he was, you remember the pinball machines.
Right.
He almost lost all of them. I got so mad that I got a U-Haul truck and hired two cats and walked right in the store, picked them up, dog. I ain't the one. I went in there with two cats, 2 day workers. I caught in the Home Depot parking lot. I said, yo, you want to make a couple dollars? Let's go. I went, I walked to the store. Now, mind you, he was already out. He was a little bit shaky at the situation. He was like, yo, D, I don't want you to get in trouble. I don't want to get in trouble. What if they say so? I said, let me stop you right there. Don't even go in the store. I'm gonna go in the store. He was like,
Did now did all his employees ever have to sign anything like that? They can't discuss the business if they
I
leave or
that I'm
quit or
not
anything.
sure of because what they did after he left or what they took him out of,
He still doesn't know really what they did.
no, that's the whole thing. He does not know. And I still talk to certain people like Carlos, which is the store manager. I got a huge relationship. I love Carlos. Carlos is still like one of my peoples. Carlos has never done me dirty. Me and Carlos got a solid relationship. And he kept it 100. He was like, I don't know what to do. I can't, I feel like a stepchild. You know, I got one hand over here, one hand over here, and I'm like, I got Jay because I love Jay and I love Jay, but I got to work and I got to make money to feed my family. And it's like, I'm like, yo, Carlos, I get it. Don't don't get involved. Don't catch a stray bullet for nobody. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But he kept it 100 always. He was like, yo, what am I supposed to do? I said, yo, just leave it alone. So when I went into the store, there was a couple cats in there. Carlos is upstairs, and he's like, yo, what you doing here, D? I'm like, I'm here to pick up the pinball machines. What are you talking about? I said, all these pinball machines belong to Jake. They going home right now. So I started walking up to the machine, started unplugging them. And my mans, they took them on two dollies. And yo, you're not even supposed to move furniture or anything, any packages through the casino. I went through it with pinball machines, dog. With pinball machines. And you know what security said? Do what you gotta do, dog. You get it? You know what I mean? It is what it is. But again, Jay got him back,
Right.
right? Because sometimes you gotta do drastic things. But Jay's not like I said, an aggressive person. He don't have an aggressive bone in his body, dog. That was never been his thing. You know what I'm saying? So, and slowly now you're gonna see an aggressive Jay.
All right. So let me ask another thing that's come up because the timing too of everything is strange to me because didn't Surgeon just settle a huge multi-million-dollar lawsuit
What a
against Nike
coincidence, huh?
for an undisclosed amount of
Yeah,
money?
what a coincidence.
And then the next day it comes out that they're filing for bankruptcy, or
Timing
that's
is
the talk,
everything.
right? Right. So
Yep. Well,
yeah, man.
timing is everything. They figured they would do what they had to do. They would say what they look. They waited for the perfect time. He was able to talk about the undisclosed, you know, thing that he won. I mean, he didn't really he won in a way because at the end of the day he didn't have to pay the original what 60 it was supposed to
$60
be.
million.
There you
Yeah,
go.
there's $60 million infringement charges.
He
Yep.
probably has. He probably didn't even have to pay maybe 3, 4 million,
I was gonna
10
say, yeah,
million at
probably
most.
right.
10 million worst case scenario. But you know what? He's still working with them. He's still working with Nike.
Hmm.
So it was a small amount plus future ventures that only Nike can okay. Right? Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Nike doesn't give a shit because Nike don't need the
Right.
money.
No.
But Nike's just teaching him a lesson. Goyard, something went away. He had a lawsuit with them that disappeared.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know about. There's a lot of lawsuits that he had. All of a sudden disappeared. But now that it's bankrupt, right? The company's bankrupt. I don't even know if there's. He said today 1,500 pairs in the store. The last time he was in,
Hmm.
that store had hundreds of thousands of pairs, though. Like I've never seen that many sneakers in my life. You had a whole back room with shelf after shelf after shelf, plus storage in Caesar's Palace. And all of a sudden, now there's nothing left. Now you go in the store, they got a couple of Hellstar t-shirts and a couple of UN t-shirts. Looks like against all odds to me. They
Mm.
cooked it.
Wow.
They cooked it, dog. So it's like, what do you say? But again, they're gonna paint a narrative because this guy Dallas is a great uh puppeteer. And shoe surgeon, Dom man, he's gonna claim that he's got depression and he's did this, he's not that. He's gonna play the victim. And while they just gonna let my man burn in the street. And that's I'm not gonna the people have to know. And
Well,
everybody that knows
well, they
Dre,
tell us that they're trying to give it back to him 100%.
what's to give
Right?
back?
Like,
What's to
what?
give back? Dog, there's nothing left. What are you gonna give? You know what's gonna happen? He's gonna be like, yo, you know what? Let me sell all this, right? The hangers. He's gonna be selling hangers in a minute, like hangers and racks and
Right.
maybe a couple of pieces of art and barber chairs and this, that. He's gotta liquidate the whole thing. He's gonna make nothing, but the money's gonna go to who he owes. So that's how Jay's gonna fix this, right? This is what he wants. He probably won't pay everybody. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. I'm sorry to say that, but let's be honest. You talking thousands of consigners. That's impossible, dog. Right? No matter how you looked at it or try to add it up, right? It doesn't. The numbers ain't. You can't. How much?
Right.
Unless he gets an undisclosed amount from them on the low and says first order of business, pay
Or
consigners back.
accurate books is the other thing that he wants to
He
make
want
sure that those
that's what
numbers
he
don't
want,
cook.
but they're never gonna show you their books.
Right.
There's a secret account that money's being sent to because they say he stole, but they used his whole credit card for everything. His own, not the store credit card, the 2J's credit card
Mm.
and his account. So that's what I want people to understand as we go forward. I don't have to talk about it. I'm not gaining anything about this. That's my dog still.
Bulldog said Mayer went live and said he's willing to sell his entire watch collection to help 2J's back people if needed.
You see what I'm saying? So you're gonna tell look, let's be real. May is not one of them cats. May is for himself. Let's keep it a buck. He's a Bronx dude like me. We come from the same spot, dog. But at the end of the day, Mayor is not gonna back anybody else or anybody at all unless he
Mm.
has love for you, and he knows you're a solid dude. So let's keep it on it. If Mayor's gonna go to that length, it's gotta say something. It's gotta mean something, though.
Right.
It's gotta
Absolutely.
mean something. So I mean, I think that's beautiful. I think that's amazing. I hope it happens. And whatever he needs, dog, we gotta go sell 2J's water bottles in the street to get everybody money back. Let's do it.
Isn't that why
Whatever.
the state has his funds under seizure?
Yes, his bank accounts have been seized. Again, waited too long. Waited too long.
Hmm.
That's just we can't fight Uncle Sam, dog. Let's keep it real. I don't care who you are. Not even Fat Joe could do it. He had to do 3 months. So and Jay not a jail dude. I mean, he did a couple overnights, but he ain't no jail. Maybe a weekend tops. And when he was in there, he was working. He was handing out bail bonds cards. Yo, call this guy when you get out. Call this guy when you get out. Because that's the hustle Jay got.
Right.
Let's keep it real. But I don't know, man. I just want everybody to understand, dog. Like he's not that guy. He don't have a foul bone in his body, man.
You think they got cash stashed? You talking about
Oh,
shoe surgeon? I'm
surgeon.
sure.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
he's talking about surgeon. Yeah, I know they got cash stash. They got stuff. They have assets that they're hiding in other people's names. They got dog countless accounts. They got cash probably stashed everywhere you can think of in Cali and in Vegas. Because look, they live in Vegas too. I mean, Surgeon lives in Vegas too. He got a crib out there. It's not like
Yeah.
he can't be seen.
In the first live, if you guys didn't miss it, Jay did say that some of the debt that is owed by UN is to businesses that Surgeon owns, and that
Yep,
they're
that's what
companies
they.
that they built after taking ownership. So it's
Yeah,
like,
so
how do you
they
owe
did that,
they
and they
owe money
paid
to themselves?
lawyers.
Like,
They paid lawyers with the money because they were being sued by other people. So now you're using the store account and Jay's money to pay lawyers to help you fight your battle. Like that's crazy. Come on, man. The world gotta know these dudes is freaking scam artists, man. That's what they are. They're really, really good scam artists. Probably some of the best I've ever seen. It's unfortunate, but look, man, I appreciate you having me on. I really do. I thank you for letting me talk about my brother in a better light that he's being portrayed right now in the street. And your dog, I appreciate you for everything you do in this community, sneaker community. And for me and you, we locked in for life, dog. I'm a loyal dude. Be like whatever you need,
I appreciate
whatever you need me to do, dog, I'm with it.
I appreciate it. Like I said, I appreciate you. Everyone, please go show some support. He and Pistol Pete just started a new podcast. Um, episode 1 is already live on YouTube and in their bios on Instagram. Episode 2 just finished getting wrapped up and
Shout out to
should be
Pistol
going
Pete.
live probably soon. You
Probably
know,
tomorrow, Monday, I get it on, and I appreciate everybody. This podcast is not what you think it is. We talk sneakers. It's more about a cannabis culture. I don't smoke weed. I'm a truck driver. At the end of the day, I'm gonna keep it 100. I don't lie about my shit. So, but at the end of the day, he's a pothead, and I love him to death, and I support him. And we talk about a lot of different subjects. But it just so happened that this topic was at hand, so we wanted to spread love. But I
appreciate it.
appreciate y'all for real, man.
We got one
My
more
dog,
question, real quick.
man,
That boy asked, why didn't he have a lawyer look over his I believe he did, is what
he did. He
early
did.
on,
It's just
and
that they changed when it comes to contracts. I don't know if anybody been in that. I used to be a union rep in Verizon and in Long Island. So when you have contracts, the verbiage in the contract can change day to day, especially when you're in the middle of a contract dispute. So we can read it on Monday and we like it, and then when they revise it on Tuesday, we hate it, and that's why strikes happen. So the verbiage was changed. It wasn't in his favor in the end, and they put a lot of extra things in there what he didn't know about.
hmm.
So
Yeah, because he even said too, even after he signed it and agreed to it, they never signed it.
no, there's two different contracts they never signed. They went back and forth twice. He signed because he was ready, but again, they weren't, and they by not signing, what are you gonna do? Can't force nobody to pick up a pen and sign anything, but you can, destroy another man's life in a heartbeat. So it is what it is, man. But I just want everybody to know he's coming back. He's gonna come back stronger. He will do his best to help the people in the streets, man. And just give him a couple, maybe could be years, could be months. I don't know the time frame. And let me tell you, I didn't tell. We talked about this off camera, but Jay and I aren't even speaking right now because of everything going on. Not because of that, but it's because I left and he's kind of upset at me. And I did a couple things. I don't blame him for anything. I went out there with different intentions. It didn't work out. Cool. I don't blame him. A man is a man. We go like he did today. He stepped it up and said it was his fault. I could tell you it was all my fault that we're not speaking, right? And I still doesn't change the fact that that's my dog and that's my brother for life.
Absolutely. So. Again, Ryman Resin podcast. There it is, right there. Definitely give them a sub. Like that first podcast. Great first entry episode. Can't wait to hear the second one and see you guys. And then hopefully we're going to link up because again, I'm near Sarasota. You're Orlando, so
yeah, you coming on, dog. When he got to hit New York because he's going to take care of some things, but we're going to link up probably middle of next month, maybe the end of next month.
Absolutely.
All right, dog. Well, I appreciate
Dan,
y'all.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. And Chad, thank you so much for the great questions.
Y'all be safe.
I'll make sure I tag Dan in this video and everything so you guys can give him a follow and them on IG as well. So, Dan, thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Later.
Good night. All right, everyone. Well, definitely a little different than